AITA for breaking up with my boyfriend because he refused to hold his sister accountable for violating my privacy. My boyfriend's older sister snooped through my work laptop and posted screenshots of a confidential document on social media with snarky comments. When I confronted her, she shrugged it off and refused to take it down. I thought my boyfriend would back me up, but he told me I was overreacting and insisted that family forgives. I, 26F, was with my boyfriend Jake, 29M, for 3 years. He's always been close to his older sister Laura, 31F, who has a history of wild behavior and poor decisions. From the start, I accepted that she was part of the package, but she's tested my patience countless times. She'd borrow my things without asking, show up unannounced, and once she even crashed on our couch for a week after an argument with her latest boyfriend. Jake would always excuse her behavior, saying she's trying her best, or she's family, so we should be patient. A couple of months ago, Laura crossed a line. I'd left my laptop out while we had a small gathering at our apartment. While I was busy in the kitchen, she decided to snoop through my work files and discovered a confidential document I'd been working on. Without asking, she took screenshots and shared parts of it on social media as a funny post, adding snarky comments. This document contained sensitive information related to a major project, and her post did serious damage to my professional reputation. I was horrified when I found out, but Laura just shrugged it off, saying I shouldn't leave things lying around if they're that important. She thought it was hilarious and refused to take it down until I threatened to report the post. When I demanded that Jake back me up and set firm boundaries, he refused. He said I was overreacting and needed to give her a break. He insisted that yes, Laura was wrong, but family forgives, and I needed to let it go. It didn't matter to him that her actions had real consequences for my career. He was more worried about how this would make family gatherings awkward. I felt totally unsupported and betrayed. After weeks of arguing, I told Jake I couldn't stay with someone who couldn't even stand up for me when his sister was clearly in the wrong. He accused me of being cold-hearted and of putting my petty grudge over our relationship. I ended it, and now he's telling everyone I chose my career over love and that I'm abandoning him for something that's not even that serious. Even his family has been reaching out, calling me selfish for not giving her room to grow. But I can't shake the feeling that this was about more than just her mistake. It's about loyalty and respect. AITA for ending it over this? Relevant comments. Commenter: oh hell no. That's not the kind of behavior one forgives, family or no. She very seriously jeopardized your job and professional reputation for a very, very, very ill-judged and vindictive prank. Why would it even be funny to anyone to see your project-specific work documentation shared on social media? There's no amusement factor here at all. Personally, your partner's reaction to his sister's appalling behavior and his refusal to back you up is not something I could get over. Doesn't matter how great he might be in other aspects of the relationship. Absolutely hell no. NTAOP. I felt so guilty about ending things, even though it felt like the only way to protect myself. Honestly, I thought maybe I was being too harsh, especially when his family started reaching out and making it sound like I'd overreacted. But like you said, her actions went beyond just a prank. She seriously crossed a line, and Jake's reaction only made me feel worse. If he couldn't understand why this was a huge deal or back me up here, I kept wondering what would happen in the future if there were other situations like this. It's such a relief to know I'm not crazy for expecting him to support me. Commenter: I think this is a pretty clear indication that he may well not have your back in the future, either against his family/sister's shitty behavior or anyone else's. You are definitely not crazy. Story 2. My 36F fiancé 30M wants to be added to my mortgage title of home, but I think he's being unreasonable. Thoughts? AITA? My fiancé is very upset that I won't add him to the mortgage or title of the home I am buying for us. He is not putting any money down because all he has right now is massive debt from school loans and will not be able to help pay for any improvements on the home. I am older than him and make more than double what he makes. It's nothing personal. I would never kick him out, but I have worked my ass off and made really good financial decisions along the way to get me to this point. I am taking money out of my retirement account as a down payment. I honestly couldn't even add him to the mortgage because his DTI is insane. He has more debt than he earns annually. He thinks it means I don't see us as a team. I have always paid for most things when we go on vacation, including rentals, cars, hotel stays, most food. When we lived together, I paid for far more rent, groceries, etc. I am even paying for our wedding in its entirety. I paid for my own engagement ring because he couldn't afford one. He will pay me back later on as he builds his career. He would pay for things if he could. I wholeheartedly know that. But I don't feel comfortable putting him on the title or mortgage on the house. I just don't think it's realistic, and I want to also have some protection of my investments that I've busted my ass for. He's a really good guy, just broke, always has been, but won't be for long because he is super motivated and finishing school soon. What are your thoughts? Am I being unreasonable? He was distraught last night when I told him I wouldn't add him. Plus, it would F up our interest rate and borrowing potential because of all his debt. He continues to say, I don't see us as a team when I literally pay for so much. and never complain. I don't lose sleep over it at all. I've always seen us as equals. Relevant comments. Commenter. NTA. He has no shame. When he starts earning and is debt-free and ready to contribute to the household, you guys can have that discussion then. OP. That's how I feel. Once his debt is reduced and he has a solid income. Commenter. Correction. Later on, when he can come down with the same down payment you put down, then only if you wish you can add him. However, with what happens nowadays, I wouldn't. What's yours before marriage is yours after the marriage. You worked really hard and were smart with your money. Don't put your future at risk when you don't have to. Also prenup. Him insisting on this matter is a red flag, and I wouldn't consider going ahead with the marriage. Story 3. AITA for leaving at night without telling him after his sister bullied me, and I had to defend myself. I, F27, have been living with my partner, Finn, M35, since last summer when my lease ended. He has been very supportive throughout challenges in my career, and moving with him helped me save money on a new lease. I just finished my PhD in science and had to stay an additional semester as I'm collaborating for a project. When Finn's lease ended, we decided to settle in the city where my collaboration project will be launched. He asked his family, and they agreed to let us stay for 2 months until we left. Neither of us owned furniture or anything since we sold that off. I paid them rent, and so did he. My situation with his family turned bitter pretty fast. I noticed deodorant skid marks on a shirt of mine, and also a scent, not sweat, just perfume, that doesn't belong to me on a lace blouse. So somebody had been wearing my clothes. I went to him, and he dismissed it as me exaggerating. Maybe I was wrong, but I said he was enabling his family, and he got very offended. I resorted to putting all my belongings back inside my luggage and locking it, and it never happened again. His sister definitely caused trouble between us. She told him that I looked at her like she was less, and he came to me with that. I find her scary, and I'm non-confrontational, but I can fight back if I have to. After that, I got snide remarks and indirect aggression from MIL and SIL. F44. SIL prides herself on having hit her exes, how she beat her brothers up, how she dragged one woman by the hair back in her 20s. The family acts like she's quite a strong woman, and they treat her like she's all that. What happened last week was horrible, and I ended up crying. So Sil walked into the living room with a very pretty blouse, very similar to one that I own. It wasn't mine. I might have shown a bad facial expression because she confronted me immediately. We had never had a direct confrontation before. She came at me and said I was accusing her of stealing. I was sitting down, and she got into my face and pressed her knees against my legs, and I couldn't move properly. Finn told her to stop, but took no real action. So she leaned over, and I pushed her by the chest to keep her away, and she started screaming at me and squaring off. She poked me with her finger, and I freaked out and swung at her and slapped her because she did walk towards me when I got up. I managed to get out of the living room and locked myself in our room. Finn never came to check on me. When I came out hours later, Sil looked like she had been crying. After that, no one has ever said a word to me, not to scold me and not to comfort me. Finn has not spoken a word, not even when we were alone. He won't answer when I talk to him, and it hurts a lot. I moved with him because I'm broke, and he did me a huge favor. I'm getting my first payment from the research project this week, and that reimburses my own expenses and the money that I put into the project. I do have funds in the bank from my part-time job that I kept until September. I don't feel great about this, but I left while everyone was sleeping. I had promised Finn that I would help him start a business once I started getting my checks. I had confirmation of payment 2 weeks ago, and a new contract cleared. I thought we would enjoy this as a couple, but I think it's a lot to reconsider. I'm very grateful for everything that he's done, but at the same time, he didn't have my back. I don't have a strong frame, and his sister is taller than me. I think I lucked out getting out of that situation, but she could have gone crazy and messed me up. He never got up, and Mel said nothing. I feel lonely and have been crying, and the reason I left is that I don't want to cry in front of them. I know it's petty, but I also don't want to help him because I know he wanted to help his family, and after what happened, I don't want them to benefit from me, even indirectly. I'm staying at a motel. I have enough funds, but Finn doesn't have a job, and I'm literally lurching him. I love him, but I don't want to get into a family like his. On the one hand, I earned this money with my efforts. He was morally supportive, but I paid for my own education. On the other hand, we made plans based on following my career, and I'm making the decision to end things. We never had fights, but he did change sometimes when near his family. I know his sister's actions are her own. Maybe he was in shock. Any advice is helpful. AITA, relevant comments, commenter, NTA. Finn's family's behavior, especially his sister's, is completely unacceptable. You were physically assaulted and emotionally abused, and Finn did nothing to protect you. Commenter. Then cold-shouldered her and refused to have a discussion about it. Not acceptable at all. It's a shame, but it seems he saw OP as a bit of a meal ticket. She has finished her education and will be moving on to upper-level STEM jobs whilst he's unemployed, because this isn't the behavior of someone who loves and respects her. Commenter. NTA. Your money is not owed to Finn. You do not have to follow through on your intentions to help him start a new business. None of that is is on the table after he failed to protect you from his sister's attack. It really doesn't matter who attacked you. It could have been a stranger on the street. This man-child is not your hero. He is not your champion. He will not even stand up for you to his own sister, who came at you while you were in a seated position over a facial expression. Come on, she is psycho. What a family to marry into. No thanks. You don't want a man who gives you the silent treatment either. This is a weaponized passive-aggressively that is totally immature and hurtful. And for what exactly? Defending yourself when he refused? Again, he's hardly your knight in shining armor. I am really bothered by his total lack of financial independence at his advanced age. He is substantially older than you are, and yet living at his parents' home with no furniture to his name. He was willing to lean on you and your money to launch himself? Again, third time in this comment, he is not your hero. You can do so much better than this. You did the right thing in leaving him. Now turn away from him and from your former intentions to be entangled with him. It has all disappeared, and you are free to make a fresh start. Story 4. Wibta to ask my wife not to dance with her ex. Going to a wedding this winter with my wife for one of her close friends. B. My wife's ex-boyfriend, C, who she dated before me, will be there, and it'll be the first time she's seen him since we started dating a fake. B told my wife that C recently was dumped by his fiancé, is not doing great personally, and has told her friend that he really misses my wife. Minor red flag. I'm planning on being friendly and polite when I meet this guy, and if my wife wants, giving them plenty of time and space to catch up. I can chat and hang with others as I know and like a lot of her friends. I trust my wife. I know she chose me, and we've been together for over a decade. I'm not worried about her doing anything that would cross a line. I don't know this guy, and don't feel the same about him though. Wibtosh. Though to ask my wife politely to at least not end up dancing with this guy. People dance at weddings. My wife loves to dance, and will be on the floor all night with her friends. I join here and there to keep her company and make her happy, but I'm not a great dancer, so I don't make a show out of it, and I'm a bit embarrassed at my lack of dancing talent. For some reason, I'm worried she would see dancing with this guy as innocent, and I feel like that really couldn't be the case. Dancing with another person is an intimate form of communicating and sharing space, and I would be even more embarrassed if she was cutting it up with this guy than doing the Elaine Benice out there with her. I also wouldn't put it past this sad dude in a romantic funk to try and plant a kiss on her or pull her close in an inappropriate way in a situation like that. It would totally ruin my night to have to see something like that and try to figure out how to respond. Say that happens and she doesn't push him away or make it obvious that he crossed a line. Do I just leave? Do I talk to the guy and demand he show me and my wife some respect? What if he does kiss her? Do I need to physically intervene? Sounds like a huge pain in the ass that could easily be avoided if she just makes a point not to dance with him. Seems easy enough. Relevant comments. Commenter. NTA. Be honest, open, vulnerable with her. She'll volunteer that she wouldn't dance with the ex. OP. You're right. She's generally very understanding and respectful of my feelings. Commenter. You're allowed to be concerned about a guy that has already expressed that he misses your wife. Set clear boundaries with your wife on this, making it perfectly clear that you don't know this guy and that it's a red flag that he misses her. Tell her what you told Reddit. You don't mind them catching up, but physical contact and dancing are off the table for your comfort as her partner. Not because you don't trust her, but because of the aforementioned red flag. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you enjoyed our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with our latest ones. Have a great day.